Hello, Mark Larsen here for the Drink At Your podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, my guest is Ben Long. Welcome, Ben.
Hello.
So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to our conversation. We had a great one the other day. And I'm definitely looking forward to this. So Ben, we just recently met. A little bit of background about who is Ben and everything that's going on.
Yeah, sure. I live in Fort Collins, Colorado right now. I've been here for the last 3 years. Absolutely love it. I'm from Georgia, from the South.
Okay.
Married, been married for 12 years, and I've got 3 kids,
Mm.
9, 7, and 3. I have been an English teacher for the last decade, as well as a freelance writer and editor. So education, academia is my background.
Wow. So what took you from Georgia to Fort Collins?
Yeah, so, I mean, on the one hand, my wife and I have always wanted to kinda move out of the South and try new things and explore and that kinda stuff. But you think about, okay, well, all the family and friends are here, and
Yeah.
it's hard, to make that leap, especially with kids.
Yes.
Um, but then we had, an experience. We went through a really challenging period of time, in 21 and 22, myself with addiction,
Okay.
and a lot of just trauma that I put on my wife and just,
Mhm.
our lowest moments. And it was coming through that into recovery in summer of 22 and God helping us through that, really horrible
Mhm.
time that we felt being called to a fresh start.
Okay.
Where we were just wasn't healthy, and we were having a hard time healing, and so, yeah, we felt God calling us to go to Colorado and kind
Wow.
of, clean slate, and it was a huge leap of faith for us 'cause
Yeah.
have friends or family, we didn't have jobs lined up
Oh,
out
wow.
or anything. We just said, I'm a teacher, she's a nurse, we've got God and we'll figure it out. And so that's the version that, it's when people I meet people here, oh, what brought you out? We're just, oh, we always wanted to move because so, you're like, how deep do I go to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
reasons why? But that is really the reason why we came out here.
Wow, and that is faith when you didn't have any jobs lined up or anything like that, and, and you choose it I think Fort Collins I love Fort Collins, so that's a good place, but I don't know what town were you what location were you at in Georgia then?
So we were in the Metro Atlanta
Oh,
area,
okay,
kind of north of Atlanta, is where we went to college. We met in college freshman year, and
okay.
then we kind of, yeah, stayed in that area, and we're raising our family and working there for a long time.
Wow, that is and, you kinda have a new, where you're getting to test your faith some more coming up. So what talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we are in the process of getting ready to move to Antwerp, Belgium.
Wow.
We joined an organization called Refugee Oasis.
Mhm.
It's a nonprofit that works with local churches in Europe to provide refugees and immigrants with language classes and the
Okay.
love of Jesus. And yeah, that's something that we are stepping into kind of middle of last year, and we're in the process of getting ready to move right now. But yes, new vocation, new calling, new adventure on the horizon.
Well, that's good. I think change is very good at keeping you keeping you young, keeping you interested in life. But and I saw yesterday you were reaching out for learning the language, and so how are you learning and what do they speak and how are you learning the language?
So ik spreek een beetje Nederlands. I speak a little bit of Dutch. That
Okay.
in the northern part of the country of Belgium, they speak Dutch as the official language. In the south,
Okay.
they speak French. And we'll primarily be living and working in the north.
Okay.
And so I have started the beginning stages of learning the language.
Hmm.
It's not, the work that we're doing, we don't necessarily have to know the local language because
Okay.
English is fairly widely spoken in Antwerp. It's a large,
Okay.
diverse
Really? Okay.
city. And the model of the work that we're doing is training local volunteers to help teach the language classes as well. So
Oh,
if it's
wow.
a Dutch language class, then it's a Dutch native who's helping teach it. And so for the work, I don't necessarily have to learn a lot of Dutch, but I don't know. I think language learning is important,
I think
uh,
so too.
especially because we're hoping on being there a long time and integrating into the local communities and putting down
Okay.
roots. And our kids are going to the local schools.
Excellent.
So definitely want to know the language to help kind of break down some of those barriers as well.
Yeah, I mean, that is I admire you, and, that's gonna be a little, I mean, is it scary or, I mean,
Totally.
intimidating?
It's terrifying and intimidating and exciting and all the things.
All of everything to yeah. No, I
It
can see that.
is.
So do your kids do they understand what's going on?
They do. I mean, to the degree that they can,
Sure.
being 9, 7, and 3. The 3-year-old's just kind of along for the ride,
Sure, yeah, I can see
more or
that.
less. But we've from the very beginning, we've tried to include them in. Here is what we're stepping into, and here's why, and here's what living there is going to look like,
Mhm.
as best we can tell, and whether we're looking
Sure.
at schools or neighborhoods. We're trying to include them in that process,
Good.
so that they feel some kind of, as much as they can, like ownership, or that they're a part of the
Right.
team, even though they don't really have a say in it.
Wow.
We're taking them away from
Yeah,
their
kind of what they
context
know.
here, of friends in school and all of that, and so we're trying to do the best we can to help them with that transition.
No, that's excellent. So, I mean, Refugee Oasis, I mean, what is the background to that? I mean, it's relatively new?
It is, yeah. So it's only been around, as an organization for a couple of years.
Okay.
It's connected to actually the church we go to out here in Fort Collins,
Oh,
Colorado.
okay.
So the previous lead pastor of the church here, is the one who left to start this organization about
Ah,
3 years
okay.
ago. He and
Okay.
his wife were on a missions trip in Nantes, France, and they came
Nice.
face to face with the refugee crisis going on there at the time, and they just felt this really strong call, like, here's all of these people who've been displaced forcibly from their homes. They're
Yes.
trying to figure out their new reality, and it's so scary and so challenging, and they just felt like, what can we do to help?" And
Yeah.
this is what came out of that, is Refugee Oasis.
Wow, excellent. So I gotta ask, I mean, I always ask on the Dreamcatcher podcast, when you were growing up, what did you think you were gonna be when you were growing up? Something like this?
Not really, no. Yeah, it's funny because I did growing up have a context for, missions and things like
Oh,
that.
really? Okay. Awesome.
Because I grew up in the church, and my parents, for a while when they were younger, they thought they were going to be missionaries. And
Oh,
had a lot of like close family friends just growing up. We had friends that when they were home from the mission field, they'd come stay with us sometimes and visit and all of that. And so I had the context for it.
uh-huh.
But just personally, I never saw myself doing that.
Uh-huh.
I as a kid, I loved reading and writing were like the 2 of my,
Really? Okay.
passions, and so I was like, "I'm gonna be a famous author one day,"
There
or,
you go.
something like that. So it's interesting, yeah, to look back at the journey, of life, and just see, okay, what are the
Oh,
things that brought me to this place that I
uh-huh.
feel now so strongly that this is a calling, and a dream now. Yeah.
Ex So, I mean, will you be speaking does it bother you to speak in front of people? Probably not with what your background is.
So it's funny because I am very like shy in front of an audience.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I am. I'm very introverted.
Okay.
And have been, since I was a kid. I was always, back of the class, didn't want to draw attention to
I
myself
can
or
relate with
talk,
that one.
whatever. I think, but the more you get outside of your comfort zone, the more you
Yes.
get this kind of you get more comfortable outside of your
You do.
comfort zone.
Exactly, yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, being a teacher has certainly helped,
Sure.
to where, especially if it's a middle school or high school group, no problems. But
Yep,
speaking in
yep.
front of adults is still something that I'm working on getting more comfortable with.
I can definitely relate with that one. Yeah, and, it's talk about a journey. That is definitely a journey.
Yeah.
So you said reading and writing. Have you written a book, or are you wanting to write a book sometime?
it's something that, again, like in as middle school, high school, even college, I was like, one day this is something I'm going to do.
Okay.
And then for a long time, life, gets busy and
Oh yeah.
married and jobs and kids and all of those are amazing things. But also for me, I really do think my journey with addiction is something that caused me to put like it changes the perspective. It
Okay.
changes your goals and motivations because everything is, feeding the addiction. At least it did for
Right.
me.
Right.
And so something like writing a book, that's not helping my addiction. So for a long time, I think
True.
I just kind of buried that. But over the last few years that I've been in recovery and healing and all of these things, I have kind of come back to getting in touch with my more creative side,
Okay.
my dreaming side,
Awesome.
and yeah, I would absolutely love. I love fiction. I mean, I the work that
Okay.
we're gonna be doing. I'm planning on doing a blog and things like that to chronicle
Cool.
and document our journey. And I love
Yeah. Oh
writing that
yeah.
kind of
Perfect.
I love writing that kind of stuff as well, but, I've always loved fiction, so yeah, one day writing some kind of a science fiction novel
Okay.
would be so much fun.
That sounds like fun. So I have to go back. So
Yeah,
from whatever the addiction was, how do you get from an addiction to where you are today? What was the process that was the impetus to
yeah.
get you move forward from that?
Yeah, it's in on one hand, it's a series. It was a series
Yeah.
of things and stages, and people and, all of this stuff, but it really was, like, from the moment because my addiction, addictions can be very easy to hide.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of high functioning addicts, in
Yeah.
the world, and that was me. It was very secret and isolated. Nobody knew that
Uh
I
huh.
the problems that I had, and especially to the extent,
Okay.
pandemic is what really, kind of made me take a turn and just headlong into addiction, because I
Oh
had
wow.
so much free time and by myself working from home
True.
and
Yeah.
all the wrong circumstances, and so it really was a period of a couple of years of,
Okay.
"Okay, I have a problem. Now
Uh
I
huh.
my wife knows all about it, and other people are close to me know about it, uh,
Right.
so I'm trying to get help, I'm going to rehab, I'm doing
Okay.
and outpatient programs, I'm going to all kinds of meetings, I'm doing counseling and therapy,
Cool.
different types. I did a lot of different things, and I think they all helped to some degree, but I
Hmm.
feel like, none of them were the magic, the silver bullet.
Sure.
Um and so I would go back into the addiction and it would get worse. Every time you go back,
Oh
it gets
wow.
worse.
Really?
And you find there's new lows, you can keep
Yeah.
digging. And, that's really I had hit this moment in spring of '22 where it was my lowest low was then, and,
Okay.
I had gotten to this place where I didn't know how to move forward. I didn't know how to keep my family, my marriage,
Yeah.
my job, everything was about to be taken away,
Oh wow.
and that's when I finally it's frustrating because 'cause you're like, "Man, I wish I could have hit full surrender a year earlier." Uh,
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
but I didn't, unfortunately, and but that was the moment of just total surrender for me, where I cried out to God, and asked for help, at a level and a degree that I just had not yet, of brokenness, and that really was a turning point for me,
Cool.
and
Okay.
and I don't know, again, like, for me personally, being a believer, I do feel like God met me in that moment,
I bet he
and it
did.
was a supernatural strength that
Mhm.
helped me get out of that pit.
Yes.
Of course, the work's not done there, but that was the pivotal, the impetus, the life-changing moment happened
Okay.
in spring of '22 when God met me in my brokenness. And then, man, that changed the trajectory of everything.
I I bet. No, and I keep thinking about, how God will use your backstory to help others in the same situation, and, because he has a way of working that way. He
Yeah.
definitely does that. So when do you move over to Belgium?
Yeah, so our hope and our prayer is that, we can make the move this summer,
Okay.
somewhere in June or July. You know, we have, like we make our plans and our timelines, but we kind of hold them loosely because
You can see that.
we don't know what's gonna happen, and ultimately it's God's timeline, but,
True.
there's 2 factors that, impact the launch.
Okay.
That we're doing, because it is nonprofit ministry based, we have to raise all of our own support, like financial support for
Oh,
it.
wow.
And so we are working on, the support raising, fundraising piece for that.
Right.
And so we have to be 100% fully funded
Okay.
before we can go. And then also the visa process, which we're in
Oh,
the middle of
I bet.
figuring that out as well. And that obviously can impact departure dates.
True.
So yeah, it's just kind of like, again, navigating these things that we don't have a ton of, like, we don't have total control over.
Yeah.
We're
No,
working on
true.
them, and we're gonna try to piece it, the best way we think it's gonna work out, but
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, hopefully this summer.
Yeah, the ebbs and flows, and that is the way you gotta do it because there's a lot of pieces in play right there, so, I mean,
There's a lot
and
on.
and I know when we talked the other day, you haven't been over there, but you're going over there to see what it's like? Is that what I got?
Yes, yeah. So we've not even been to Europe, which is
Okay.
kind of that we felt this strong call to go to Europe,
Uh-huh.
without having been there. But honestly, I mean, that in the same way we were living in Georgia and had never been to Colorado and felt this call to Colorado, we
True, yeah.
and it's been amazing, and so that kind of is giving us this, like, all right, there is more, I guess, faith and optimism that things will work out. But yes, we are getting to take a trip, my wife and I, in
Excellent.
March, for a
Okay.
week, to go and visit and explore and all of that, and I'm so excited about that.
And I rightly so, I bet it's beautiful over there, so I've never been to Belgium, but, yeah, when travel's good just the best education there is anyway, so but no, and, do you like to travel?
I do. I love traveling. My wife and I both love to explore, visit new places, try new things.
Yeah.
We haven't had the opportunity to do a lot of international travel though.
Okay.
It was something that, like, all right, with kids and money and everything, we're like,
True,
maybe
yeah.
when we
It's tough.
retire one day, that kind of thing. But with the work that we're stepping into, and now going to be living in Europe and in Belgium,
Yeah.
we're excited too for the times that we're able to travel and visit other cities and countries with our kids too, and
Yes.
the experiences that we can have with them.
Yeah, it'll be what an experience. None of you will forget these experiences. I mean, that's better than any textbook or anything you learn online. I mean, it very much is. So, I mean, if people wanted to, with what you're doing with Refugee Oasis,
Yeah.
how can people find out what you're doing, and how can maybe potentially help you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we created a website. It's called
Okay.
longsonmission.com. Our last name
Okay.
is Long, and so we're Longs on Mission. And I kind of made that as like a landing page for all the information of what we're doing,
Okay.
with links to giving and prayer and all that kind of stuff
Nice.
as well. And so if anybody's interested in, yeah, just kind of reading more about it and learning and checking things out, that
Okay.
website is a good place to go, as well as I'm trying to continue, using social media, to help just kind of share the news and all the recent updates and things that are happening, because there is a lot happening, even though we're still months away from leaving. There's a lot of really exciting stuff going on.
Yes. No, and we'll put that in the show notes, all that too, so people can look at that. So how many people are like in this organization? Is it a big group or
So it started with, maybe 5 or 6 people at the very
oh
beginning.
wow.
And it started with, okay, we're in Nantes, France, and we're gonna focus on, opening 1 center for language classes. And
Okay.
the goal then was we're just gonna be in France, and, this is what we've been called to do. Year 2 comes around, they've opened multiple centers, the team is growing, and now they're like, "I think we're actually supposed to expand beyond France." And
Okay.
so 2 was expansion where, they've added centers and teams in Madrid, Spain. They're in
Really? Okay.
Frankfurt, and Berlin and Munich in Germany.
Wow.
And then my wife and I will be the first going to Belgium. So we're getting the work
Okay.
started in that region. So it's grown to, I don't know the exact number, but 40 plus people working for the organization, multiple centers, working with multiple, dozens and dozens of volunteers in local churches and
Excellent.
serving hundreds and hundreds of refugees that come through the classes.
Wow. You're really on the ground floor here. And I mean, so is there a time where you all come together and kind of have a planning session?
Yeah, there is. We actually had an annual retreat in August of last year
Okay.
in out here in Colorado, which was kind of fun. We got everybody flew in from all the different places.
Okay. That is
We
cool.
just had 3 days just to cast vision for the next year and
Nice.
plan and build those relationships and all of that. And it's also, the benefit of being a small team is it's
Hmm.
very easy to stay connected with one another. We do weekly calls on Tuesday mornings, um,
Okay.
team members and things like that. And so, yeah, I feel like very connected, even though we're all living in different places.
Hmm.
We're all doing the same work and we're all very
Excellent.
connected.
That's very good. So I mean, did you think you'd be doing something like this when you were at this place in your life?
I, you know, Not specifically this.
Okay.
I didn't have a specific, vision in mind for a long
Okay.
time. Again, like, the addiction is just so overpowering
Yeah.
and controlling.
It is. Yeah.
And then
Long.
it was, "Okay, now my focus is recovery and healing my marriage and, getting healed myself and working on all of that," and that was my focus. And so it's really just been the last, like, year or 2 that we have felt like, okay, now we can again begin to dream and
Yeah.
what is, I've been a teacher for a long time. My wife is a nurse and a clinic
Okay.
manager. She's done that for a
Oh,
long
wow.
time. And, everything, on the surface was like, all right, we've got a great thing going on in Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would we do anything else? And we didn't want to move anywhere else. We love Colorado. It's amazing out
Color is
there.
awesome. Yeah. No.
But the last year though, we had been praying like, God, if there is anything else that we
Mhm.
should be doing,
Uh-huh.
let us
Yeah,
know because
he will.
He helped us through so much. And again, we want to make sure we're in alignment with his plans for us as well, not just our own plans for us.
Right.
And so I think that's a dangerous thing to pray though. Like, like if there is
Yeah, true.
um but we've always had a heart for local outreach. We've always had a heart for relationship and community. My wife has worked with refugees and immigrants in her role at the health department.
Really?
As a
Okay.
teacher, I work with all kinds of students from all kinds of
Yeah.
backgrounds and situations. And so we always have had a heart to pour into others and into community. I just didn't know it was going to be in the form of Refugee Oasis at the time.
You never know, and when you ask God, yeah, he will definitely tell you. Sometimes in the most interesting ways too. I
Yes.
mean, it is so interesting, and I love what he does. He does work in mysterious ways, that's for sure. So where would you I mean, like, 5 years, maybe it's tough to know in 5 years. Where would you like to be with your life and everything you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it is on one hand hard to know, because we have the big move and all. Like, I don't even know what living in Belgium is like
Yeah, I
yet.
know. Yeah.
And, we have had an opportunity, to be a part of some of the classes, and we know what our role is going to look like. And so, but as far as and again, with the ministry and the organization growing so quickly, it's exciting to think about where we could be in 5 years
True. Oh,
because
yeah.
right now, my wife and I are gonna be the first ones, in the
Wow.
area, where
Pioneers.
it's called city coordinator is our role.
Okay.
But as the area grows and we're opening new language centers and more, and we can't handle it by ourselves anymore because it's become too much, then the
Yeah.
organization starts to train and send new team members to us, and we become the city leads over a team.
Wow.
And so I do see that happening for sure in the next
Okay.
5 years, becoming a leader of a team. And my hope would be is, where we will be living, it's so closely connected, to, other parts of Belgium, but also parts of Germany and France
Yeah.
and the Netherlands. Like Amsterdam is an hour and a half train ride away.
Really?
And, it would
Wow.
be
Okay.
amazing to kinda be able to grow into those other surrounding, areas.
You might just want to become Europeans.
I
You just
you
it's
know?
like I would like to try that. I would think it'd be awesome just to do what I mean, like I was telling you the other day when Italy, I would just love to just explore, stay there. I mean, the countries are so close together compared to like we are in the United States.
Yeah.
It is amazing. So I don't know if you have any free time. So what do you and your wife like to do in your free time? Do you have hobbies?
Yeah, so, that's another thing again, coming out of the addiction, it's like, "Okay, what are my hobbies now?" That I
Okay.
have this, my time. So I play guitar.
Oh,
Uh,
do you? Okay.
I've
Awesome.
I've played for a long time, but I've gotten back into it. I'm a huge reader, of course.
Okay.
My wife is too, so we both enjoy reading. We love hiking and being outside, which is great in
Perfect place where
Colorado.
you're at now. Yeah.
We love, going to concerts. We love live music. So we try to go
Nice.
to I mean, that's one of the things whenever we visit a city, we're like, "Okay, what do the locals do? Where do we go
Exactly.
eat?
Yeah.
How do we get involved? Where are the best, places to go?" And so just exploring and things like that are so much fun because I mean, we've lived here for
Yes.
3 years and there's still more to explore and
Oh,
find,
yeah.
and so we love doing that kinda stuff.
No, I do too. I mean, that's the only way you get to know an area, but that's just so much fun too. I love exploring, even in central Nebraska, which there's more stuff here than you would really think there is. So do you think your kids understand what's going on that they'll be moving?
It's a hard question, and it's something I think about a lot,
I
honestly.
bet, but
Um 'Cause that was the hardest part of, stepping into this. It was like, "Okay, are
yeah,
kids going to be okay? What is this gonna be like for them?" And, on the
yeah,
one hand, it's incredibly exciting to the
yeah,
opportunities that they'll have, and growing up in a very global, diverse context,
nice, yeah,
exciting, multilingual, all these things. But at the same time, it's I want there to be stability, I want there to
mm,
be safety and comfort for them, and I want them
yeah,
to feel that. And
yeah,
so I think they again, trying to involve them as much as we can is helping give them an idea of what it will be like.
sure.
Um, they go back and forth from excitement to, resistance, and it depends
I
on the day,
understand that.
and it depends on how they're feeling in a certain given time. I think it's
Definitely.
gonna be hardest for my daughter who's 9 and in 4th grade. I think
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
the older you get, the harder change can be.
True. Yes.
And she's real locked in with her friend group here,
Yeah.
and all of that, so it is gonna be challenging. Our 7-year-old's funny because he's like, as long as he knows the plan, like, he's good, and so he's already, like, told all his friends, he's like, "Guys, this is my last year with you, and then
It's
I'm moving
awesome.
to Belgium," so,
He's down for this.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And I saw 2 of your kids the other day when we were talking, man, you have awesome kids, so at least the 2 of the 3 I saw.
Yeah, thank
I could
you.
see them I could actually see you guys doing, a family podcast or something, where you guys are,
Mm,
as a family, doing something. I don't know if it'd be a podcast. And I don't know, I just get a
yeah,
vision of you guys together as a group doing something that where you're speaking, especially as your kids get older.
yeah,
And, I know
yeah,
your kids your own kids like to talk. They probably like to all talk. So,
yeah.
but I mean, do you still have family back in Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia and kinda North Carolina and Tennessee are where all the family is back in the South. Yep.
What do you think of this? What you're
Yeah,
doing? Are they
so, I mean, it's a mixture of excitement, I don't know what the other word would be, but just, like, it is hard. I mean, it's
Yeah,
hard for us to move out to Colorado,
I bet.
because that feels, worlds away.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And now we're going to Europe, and that's an even
Yeah,
bigger, move.
yeah,
I think for my parents again, because they grew up and I grew up with the context of missions, like they understand the why
Yeah, okay, that's
behind
good.
it. And so our family is supportive, and excited for us. But it'll be
That's
hard.
good.
It will.
Yeah, that's good. So would they ever want to be part of, I mean, do any of your family would like to join you in what you're doing? You
I don't
think?
you know, I it's funny because I when we moved to Colorado, we were like, "Everybody needs to move out here to Colorado because like,
Yeah.
you guys would love it out here. It's way
Oh, yeah.
where we were," all these things, and, nobody did, so it's fine.
Hmm.
And I am curious because the organization is also, they're adding opportunities to get involved without becoming a full team member. Um
Okay.
there is like internships or short-term teams that come for a week or two. And then they also are starting something called a seasons program, uh,
Okay, interesting.
for retirees who want to
Oh,
travel, but also like help out while they're traveling, like be involved with the.
okay.
So there's something called a seasons program that we're starting as well. So I could see maybe inviting my parents to come partake in the seasons program.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. I mean, Cheryl and I might be even interested in that. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah,
So, I mean, so you can just tell this is all just coming together right now. I
it
mean, that
is.
is, I mean, what an exciting time to be part of this and how much good you guys are going to do. And, oh my gosh. And to be able to, I'm jealous of you go ahead and have the opportunity to be in Europe like that. I mean, that's just, uh, so will you, I mean, everything in your house, will you get rid of your house in Fort Collins and then you
Yeah.
get rid of everything?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
We're renting right now, which I guess,
Okay.
one benefit of not having a lot of assets is we don't have a lot to worry
Well,
about.
there is that is a plus. Yeah.
So yeah, our landlord knows the situation and we're just on a month by month, rent with him. So
Okay.
we
So,
just give him a 30 days notice and we're good there. But yeah, we will be, selling our cars and selling most of our stuff. Uh, because partly it's just so expensive to try to move things.
oh,
Uh,
true.
like that. So we were like, might as well, just clean out
Yeah.
and move light,
Yeah.
and then we'll restart and rebuild there.
Get what you need there when you get there. So,
Exactly, yeah.
so will you drive over there or how is that something that takes a lot to be able to drive in Europe?
Yeah, so that's something that I am curious to see how it goes because, on the one hand, like, public transportation is supposed to be very good,
I believe that.
especially
Yeah.
in Antwerp, whether it's the bus or the tram or the train, whatever it might be,
Hmm.
and so our plan, at least for now, is to
Uh-huh.
own a car, and let just see how it goes. And which I'm super excited about. Like I love public transportation. I think it's great. But
Yep.
it might be that okay, it's not practical like to not have a car with three kids and all of that.
True.
But we'll see. Well, that could change. But our plan of as
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
is try without and if we ever go on a trip into the country or whatever we'll just rent a car and
Yeah.
the weekend
That
or
way.
whatever it is.
No, and in public transport, I only know in Italy, but I mean, pretty much everywhere. I mean, everybody's like, "Well, I can go get on a train and go to this country really quickly."
Yeah.
We looked into Portugal and all this stuff, and I wish we had more of that in the United States, more transportation that was like that. So rather than, I mean, Amtrak's, I've never ridden an Amtrak, but I wish we had more than that in the United States.
Yeah.
Especially. So
Yeah. Well, and everything is because the countries are smaller and close together and
yes,
again in Belgium it's the fifth smallest country in Europe. So especially
really,
in
okay.
the cities everything's like so walking even like just we're going to do a lot of walking as well.
And walking's I guess walking's good.
It is
How is
good.
the weather? Is the weather
So I think it's we the weather in Georgia I think is going to be closer to the weather in Belgium honestly.
really? Okay.
Georgia does experience a lot more rain, and
Uh-huh.
kinda cloudy, overcast, especially in the winter. That's just
Okay.
kinda how it is, the humidity and things like that.
Mhm.
And I think that is gonna be similar from what I can tell to what,
Okay.
Antwerp will be like. It's near the water, so there's higher humidity and all of these kinds of things. So that will be living out here, Fort Collins, Colorado, we get like 300 days of sun a year.
You get a lot, yeah,
And so that is gonna be hard to like leave behind
yeah.
all that sunlight.
Yes, I
But
would
it's for a
agree.
good cause, so.
No. So food-wise, what is their food like? I mean, it's probably really good, I would guess.
Yeah, so it's interesting too because there is, traditional Belgian food. It's a lot of meat and
Yeah.
potatoes,
Okay.
things like that, but also like obviously waffles, Belgian waffles is a big
Sure, that
deal.
hey, that
And
sounds
chocolate
great.
and pastries. The bread is supposed to be like amazing, which
Okay.
is dangerous but exciting.
That would I would agree on that one.
If one funny thing to us is mussels and fries, is a
Okay.
very common, they eat a lot of mussels and fries, and the
Yeah.
fries, is they'll put all kinds of toppings on them and things like that, and it's
Wow.
just kind of a fun thing that is
Yeah.
very common over there. And it's funny too because our 7-year-old has a very kind of eclectic taste in food, and he loves
Okay.
mussels, strangely enough, so he's very excited for the mussels and fries.
That's awesome. I was not that way at 7.
Me neither, no.
Oh,
But also Antwerp is an incredibly diverse city.
okay.
There's people from all over the world that have settled there and that have,
Okay.
businesses and restaurants and,
Nice.
street food and all of that. So, I'm excited for that because
Yeah.
from what I can tell and what I've heard is you can find food from all over, the world there, which
That's
is pretty
great.
exciting too.
Very good. So do you like to cook?
So I am becoming someone who likes to cook. I
Is
mean,
that okay? Okay.
that's never been my area of expertise. I've never
Okay.
felt comfortable in a kitchen.
Uh-huh.
I still struggle with like I need a recipe and I have to
Oh,
follow
that
it.
would be me.
Yeah, my wife she can kinda make stuff up and do whatever, and that she's definitely a lot more comfortable,
Okay.
but it is something that I'm starting to enjoy more of,
Oh,
and I have been the one who's because of our work schedules, like,
sure.
I'm here and I make dinner for by the time she and the kids are home and everything, so whether they like it or not, I am the one in the kitchen now.
So do you have a specialty you make?
So there's a couple different ones that my kids like a lot that I'll do. There's a Greek turkey skillet,
Ooh, that sounds good.
that I do that's good. And then there is this kind of chickpea and rice, dish, that has kind of a, Middle Eastern influence to
Oh,
it.
wow.
We,
Awesome. I
we
love
like
that.
a lot of Middle Eastern food as well, so
Oh, me, okay, so I'll be over tonight.
okay, let's do it.
They might be a little late. It might take me a little while to get from Nebraska to Fort Collins,
I'll keep it
but,
warm for you. Yeah.
no, that is I mean, I'm not that adventurous, and I definitely need a recipe. Otherwise, otherwise, it's very interesting what it might be,
Yeah,
so, but
sure.
so, Ben, anything else you would like to share with the audience, before we end the podcast about what you're doing, Refugee Oasis or
Yeah.
anything like that?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I guess I would just encourage them if anything that I've shared about it is interesting to them or if they'd like to learn more, definitely, visit our website, longsonmission.com, or the organization's website, which is refugeeoasis.org. And like I said before, we are in the process of building a team of partners and support raising and all of that. And so we need people who want to partner with us and help us financially in the work that we're going to be doing.
Excellent.
And so I am always looking to set up meetings and meet people and share more about
Okay.
what we're doing. So I would love to meet with them in that way as well.
Excellent. Oh, I am so glad that God crossed our paths.
Same.
I'm glad you're having faith in what you're going to be doing in the very near future. And I look forward to seeing what's next with you and your family and this organization. Since everything is just really coming together. And I wish you everything good luck. I don't know. I
Yeah.
never think luck. It's always God. But smooth sailing's as much as you can have with a transition like this. And I have a feeling this is going to go. Definitely, it's going to. You Everybody around the world is going to know Refugee Oasis,
Mm,
and and maybe Ben Long too.
mm.
Being up there on the speaker. And would you ever want to run it? Would that before I have to ask that? Would that be something if they were said you wanted to be a person that kind of was or instrumental in directing the future path.
Yeah, I mean, it is something again where, had you asked me that 5 years ago, I said absolutely not. Like I am
Uh-huh.
a collaborator, I'm a team player, and I just want to kind of like hide in the background behind other people.
Right. I understand that one.
But the more that I am stepping into the work and meeting new people and sharing and networking and doing all of these
Right.
things, like I love it. I absolutely love
Okay.
and I want to be personally involved as much as I can in the growing and shaping of the ministry, as
Okay.
well. So, yeah, I have no idea, but, if again, 5 years from now, maybe regional director of,
There you go.
Europe or whatever.
Yeah. And I can see it. Your vibe, I could definitely see that. And I can feel that you definitely are you're full on, like your son is
Mm,
too. You're down for this very much.
absolutely, yeah.
So and I'm glad I got to see them for a little bit the other day too. I mean, I think you were gonna play a game with your son or something like that the other
Yep,
day. So
yep, we love
um
playing ga that's
but
another hobby for us, board games, card games, all of that, we love it.
those are all. And I think so many kids, parents don't do that anymore. I mean, I remember that when my parents, we did the board games and all that stuff growing up, and especially with my grandparents, because that was the first thing we did when we got in their house. It's like we played cards, and have great memories of that. So,
Yeah,
but well, Ben, I'm going to end the podcast there.
yeah.
Thank you very much for being my guest on Dreamcatcher, and keep in touch. And I wish enjoy your trip in March, which isn't that far away. And we'll be talking soon. Then,
Alright, sounds great, Mark, thanks so much.
yeah, thank you.